Good day, fish tankers. This one is still going through its dark cycle, so that'll be part 2 and 3 of that tank. But lo and behold, we've got ourselves a couple of boxes sent to me by Southern Pet Traders. Thank you, Faizan, so much. What have we got in here? Let me get rid of the packaging for you. Okay, packaging off, very sturdily packaged, I must say. What we've got ourselves here is, I can't pronounce it, I'm going to try Y-O-U-A, as you see on the screen. We've got ourselves a shallow desktop or bookcase nano tank here. It measures 80 by 15 by 15 centimeters. And we also sent me some extra goodies, some water purifier, Biozyme, and some Biozyme nitrifying probiotics. I suppose this is bacteria in a bottle, and a small air pump. These are all useful. But thanks for those extras, guys. But we're gonna put this together and I'm gonna tell you what is in the box and what do I think of it. Let's take the plunge. Full disclosure, this is not a paid for video. Southern Pet Traders didn't sponsor the video or paying me to make this video, but they did sponsor me with this product. So I didn't pay for this little nano tank. I got the tank for free, so full disclosure about that. Thanks once again for Southern Pet Traders. Now let's look at the tank. As I've said, this presents quite a challenge. It's not your usual aquarium. It's not a cube. It's not the usual rectangular shape. This is a long, narrow, shallow tank. So this is not for your average guy. This is something, if you want to do something really special, really different, it's a good bookshelf aquarium. Of course, it holds 80 liters of water, not taking into account for the weight of a tank or the displacement. So it has to be a very solid, old school, perhaps supported bookshelf. But it's something that you have a specific niche space for where you want to put this aquarium. Now let's just see what it comes with. Now firstly, there is a light, and it's on a gooseneck, and it's got a simple on-off switch. It's an LED light, almost like a spotlight. We'll see how that works. Then we've got a little pump over here. It's 7 watts or 6 watts. I think it's 450 liters per hour. And it's got a little flow control, which I like. And with a pump comes, of course, a tube, a nozzle, another tube, but I don't know what it's for. And then on the side, we've got a little side filter with a lid, of course, that goes over like that, if you want the lid, in fact. Now, let's go and look at maybe the filter compartment first. Okay, so here's your filter compartment. You'll see there's this little basket sitting in here that goes over, it goes through an inlet there on the side. There is 2 inlets where the water flows in. And you can see over there, there's a little baffle there made of glass. And you can put this little cup over there. It hooks in there. And you can have some water flowing through some immersed plants growing out of the side here of a filter compartment. You know, then obviously not going to put the lid on. And then it flows over there. And here's a compartment in here. I figure you'll just put, what I would do is I'll put some biomedia on the bottom and just cut 1 or 2 little blocks of sponge. It's not huge, but it's adequate for a small tank like that. And then the water goes through that triangular cutout, and then you'll see on the other side there's yet another baffle that it flows over, and then it goes into the compartment here where your pump will be sitting, and there's a hole where the nozzle will spray out down the length of the aquarium. So let's just assemble that pump quickly. Okay, so the pump has got 4 little sucker feet. It sits like that on the bottom of that little side sump, that mini filter compartment. And it's got this little nozzle that goes in there. And then there is, of course, a tube that we go and we stick onto that. It's very difficult to do it while looking through the camera. But anyway, I'm going to do that off camera, and then it will obviously go into this little nozzle that's going to go into that hole that you see over there. And this nozzle, it unscrews like that. You put it through, and then you screw it through on the other side of a glass. And what's nice, this nozzle offers directional flow. If a camera can just up, down, to the side, so you can push the flow whichever way you want to. Okay, so there we have a pump settled now. I had to cut that little tube a bit. Just sits there on the floor of a sump, and there you can see there is your nozzle, and you can move this any way you want, to the side, however you want to. That gives you a bit of flexibility, and that pulls the water through into the side filter compartment. Now let's move on to the light. Okay guys, you can see now, here is the light fastened on. It's got these plastic screws and a bracket onto the side, and the lid fits snugly over the cord for the filter pump, and then the lights fitting. It's got a very smooth gooseneck kind of thing. It can go to the side, you can turn it any way you want. But it's a bit unusual, is it's a spotlight type of light. Alright? So it spotlights. It's a single sort of light. You can see there, it's quite a bright light. I think the light is about 7 watts, somewhere around there. I'm not sure what the specs is, but you can find it all on the description below. Just follow the link to their website. We'll get to where you can get these later. But that's it. It's a kind of unusual sort of light. I'm going to switch the room lights off and you get a better idea. Okay, so there you see it. So, makes you see where the light goes on this spotlight type light. So I can bend it a bit, and then I move it to the edge. So that leaves the rest of your aquarium. So that's an interesting kind of light. I think this sort of light will work really well if you put it above one of those aquascaping bowls, a cube aquarium, especially one of your bigger aquariums. If there is some terrestrial plants growing out of your tank that needs a bit of light, that needs a spot, or if there's a particular plant in your aquascape but you want to put a spotlight on, I can see a lot of usage just for this light. But let's now think of it in terms of this aquarium. How are we going to do this? Because there's obviously going to be some challenges here. If I look at the tank, there it is sitting, I walk around it. Yeah, you're not going to have a bright light on your entire tank. There's going to be a bit of a dark spot. So if I do this, if I push it down and put the light there, now I just have a spotlight and the rest is open. Or I can put it there, and now you have sort of a maximum light, and there you have a dark spot. But then it also depends how you put it in your room. You know, even if it's in an area where there's quite a lot of light, you can work with it. So you could also not use this light and just use a regular sort of light bar type of light. You can just hook that on the tank. If you do that, I would think, because it is so shallow, you're going to need one that you can turn down the power, otherwise it's going to be too bright. You might have that thing. And yeah, so that's one challenge of this tank. How are you going to plant it? Let's have a quick discussion about that. So light aside and filter compartment aside, a couple of things that I should just maybe mention here that are on the technical side. The tank itself, the glass aquarium, it's a very well made tank, solid thick glass. I think it looks like 6mm glass to me, very solid thick glass. And then also at the bottom, it's got a leveling mat already glued onto the bottom, which it comes with standard. So a very quality tank. It's very sturdy. It's polished glass. It's well made. Nice silicone edges on it. So I forgot to mention the tank itself. I should have started there. But now we see we've got the light here. So there's going to be spots of light, spots with darkness. I want to do and use this with the light it came with. I'm not going to put a strip light on, but this being a bookshelf tank, a tank for sort of a special sort of space, you know, if you have a shelf above it, you can always hang your lights on the shelf just above it or fasten it there, you know, and have it a bit higher up, because you're going to have to be, it's not a beginner's aquarium. This is for somebody that wants something special in a special sort of space and wants to have a bit of a challenge. Of course, this does present a bit of a challenge. So you in terms of plants that you're going to grow, I'm just spitballing here while I'm thinking about how I'm going to do this thing. You only have a 15 centimeters with 6 inches of height here, so you can't really have a thick substrate for heavy rooted plants unless you're going to make it just a bog sort of shallow with just a few inches of water and all, you know, immersed planting. That's one way you can go. And I'm thinking, if you're going to put substrate in, you want small plants that are not going to go tall. S. repens, that is a plant you can make that could grow well here. Also, what I'm thinking is maybe some small epiphytes so that you don't require much in the way of substrate. But I'm going to see what I can work with here, and I'm going to come up with a plan of that. Now, the other thing that I'm sure you guys are thinking of, the rule of thumb is we don't keep fish in aquariums less than 20 liters, which is 5 gallons. This is 18 liters, so it's about just over 4 gallons. Now, that's a rule of thumb. It's a sort of a generalization because it's got to do firstly about managing water quality. So water quality, to manage it, it's not inherently unstable as people want to say. You just have very, very small margins for error. You've got to stock lightly. Whatever you add to the tank, overfeeding is going to be a big crisis in a little tank like that. But although it's not quite 5 gallons, you do have a rather big footprint, because fish, remember, they don't swim in a vertical plane mostly. They don't swim up and down like that, most fish. They like to swim to and fro on a horizontal plane. This has got a very long horizontal plane. Even though it hasn't got much height and it hasn't got much depth, there's a long horizontal plane here for a small fish to swim in. So you will be able to get some stocking options here. You got to tell me in the comments what would you put in here. Now, the obvious thing, because it's got such low bioload and it's truly a very long but a nano tank. So the obvious thing would be shrimp. Shrimp would do very well in here. You can create lots of surfaces for them to graze on. So shrimp is the obvious choice. And the way my red cherry shrimps are going on now that they're breeding, I have a supply of shrimp, so I might just do that. I've been thinking a fish that might do well in here, all on its own, and it's a bucketless fish on mine, would be a single aquascape this tank and put in a single scarlet baddis. That could work really well because it's a tiny little fish. There's lots of length here for it to swim. But I don't feel like hatching live baby brine shrimp. Too many things going on in my life at this moment than to hatch brine shrimp as well on the side. So, but that would be a good idea for a project like this. A betta obviously comes in nano tanks. Now, bettas don't like very deep tanks, so this could work well. There's enough swimming space. I would maybe look at one of those, like what I already have, one of those long fin bettas. They would like the shallow sort of setup so that they don't have to swim their fins off. That could work, but you've got to keep in mind bettas are jumpers and many other fish too. And in an aquarium as shallow as this, they might be inclined to jump. So you might want to put on some floating plants or something going out of it so that they can have an idea of where the surface is. Or if you're me and a bit paranoid, if I put my betta in here, whom I'm quite fond of, you get attached to these bettas, I would just put a lid on top of a tank. Just cut a piece of glass to go from here to there, and then your problem is solved. That's another thing that one might do. And it also depends on the ambient light of your room. For those other ideas that I have, you can also have tiny little nano fish, maybe 8 pygmy cories might work, or 8 chili rasboras. That will be a good choice maybe for aquarium like that. It's very tiny. Try finding them in South Africa right now. I don't know. I don't see them in the shops. And another fish that might work here is the least rasbora. A show of 8 or so of them. So I would say you will be able to keep some tiny nano fish in here because it's got this very long footprint. There's a lot of swimming space. But I think this is definitely not something for your it's not a first tank. It's for your more experienced aquarists. If you want to do something that's a challenge, and I'm going to take this challenge on. And the biggest headache is where am I going to put it? But let's see what I can figure out with this aquarium. Okay, so we're going to have a look at all these pieces of rock and hardscape that I have lying around in my garage, and we're going to use that to create something here. Right, now first I'm going to add some Santa Fe UNS gravel there in the edge, almost like a riverbed. It just serves to harden the water a little bit, which is good for the shrimp. And then we are going to add some texture there. We're just going to spread all of this out a little bit like that. Just spread it out evenly, and that's what it's going to be like. It's going to start with a gravel, and this is good old washed over and over again pool filter sand. Just going to put some of that in, a little bit more. So it starts with the Santa Fe UNS gravel, and then it just goes to pool filter sand, like a riverbed would flow almost, since we've got this long narrow tank. So let me just spread that out a little bit, and then I'm going to add a piece of old spider wood. It's been sort of waterlogged before. I've glued a rock onto it so that it doesn't float, and just like that I'm going to glue these pieces of honeycomb wood together and then glue it to a rock. You use a little piece of paper toweling and then the hardscape glue. And then I'm going to put it in there. I'm just going to glue it to that piece of rock with that piece of paper towel and the hardscape glue. Now, because we don't have much of a substrate, I'm just going to use epiphytes. I'm going to go through Anubias because there's going to be the spotlight effect, so it's not going to be a highlight. So I need plants that's going to grow with almost room lights. And then I'm going to wedge them in like that. Not even going to glue them. The spider or the honeycomb wood is good for that. We're just going to wedge the pieces of Anubias in there. The rhizome, as we know, must not be buried. There we have it. So we've got some Anubias, and we've got these two different kinds of substrate. And I'm going to, on that piece, that's going to be dark, so there's not going to be much light there. So I'm going to put some botanicals there, some guava leaves, some Indian almond leaves, just a little bit, not too much. And then these cones, it's not older cones, it's something else. I forgot the name. It's from Nature Boys. They make great botanicals. Just going to chuck some into the tank. That's going to create biofilm, as will this piece of cholla wood. The biofilm is good for what I'm going to put in this tank. And always remember to spray your plants down while you're busy working so that they don't dry out. And on top of this piece of hardscape, that's a waffle plant, a purple waffle plant. I tie the roots to a piece of stone, and I'm going to put this 10-watt nano heater in here. We'll see if it works. And of course some matrix and some sponges. It's mature media from my mature filters. And then we're going to add water to the tank, of course. What else? You know, I usually mix a bit of warm water in to get it up to temperature so the heater doesn't work so hard. And I added some shrimp GH because my water is very soft, just to make the water a little bit harder, to raise that GH just a little bit. The shrimps need it to molt. And we're going to fill this baby up and just leave it running for a few days with a mature filter media. And let's switch on the pump. There we go. It's quite a strong pump. It puts out quite a lot of water, so this is going to be way too strong for something like a betta, for instance. You can see how those cones float well, and I could put in some water conditioner. But I'm going to turn down the pump. This is much too fast. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to turn this pump down for most things that you keep in here. I thought it would die, this purple waffle plant. It did, and then it started reviving again. So I'm going to try and keep it for a while, see if it works. And now you can see I've got almost no space left on my desk. So I'm going to obviously have to move this bookshelf tank in the long term to somewhere else. But this is for demonstration purposes. And you guessed it, I went through some yellow Neocaridina shrimp. And as I put in the shrimp, if you've watched this far, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for Southern Pet Traders. And until I see you guys again, keep taking good care of those domestic denizens of the deep.